You can get good enough at almost anything in 20 hours of focused effort. The problem is, most people spend years delaying the first hour.
Welcome to another episode of Champion Reads, brought to you by Champion Circle. Champion Reads Book Club is where we delve into the best, brightest, newest, oldest, most important books on business and life. Not only to regurgitate what they say, but to talk about what they mean and how we can apply them to our lives. Today, we are talking about Alex Hormozi's incredible book, $100 Million Offers. So join us today with our co-host, Mr. William Blake, a dyslexic achievement coach, and myself, Ian Sturmer, author, coach, and entrepreneur. So, William, we are on $100 million leads. I love the title of this because I wouldn't mind having a lead worth $100 million. You know, money's not everything, but it can help in life. So I say money can't buy you happiness, but poverty can't buy you anything. So given the choice, I'll take a little bit of money. So
yeah, I'm with you. It's one of my this is one of my favorite books. Out of my top 10 books, and a lot of people who know me know that I read a lot. And I've read over 3, maybe 4, I think it's over 400 books now over the last 6 years in the self-development industry. And Alex Hormozi has just popped up with this book as well as the $100 million leads in my top 10. So I'm excited to jump into this book.
Yeah, this has been one of my favorites too. I love the books that tell a story I can get into, and I love the books that just tell me what to do. And this is one of those books that just tells you what to do. It's not a bunch of theory and idealism. It's nuts and bolts, go do this. And we're going to actually start out with one of those things he tells us to do in the book. He gives a great example where he says, if I give you a brick, I want you to make a list of all the things you can do with this brick. And he says, people start writing down, they can be a doorstop, they can drop it on their foot, they can be a paperweight, they can start building a wall with it. But then he expands it and says, what if this brick has holes in it? Well, now you can use it to put a stick through it to carry something, or you can tie a rope to it. Now, what if this brick is a Lego? Well, now you can build a scale model of the Millennium Falcon. You can, what if this brick is made out of gold? Well, now you can do these things. What if it's a sponge? Well, now you can do these things. So that same idea in our businesses. We talk about brainstorming, who are our customers or what does our product do? And I think so often we limit ourselves to a small segment of what could be possible without looking at bigger pictures of something. So I thought we might play a little bit with you, William, and your business. So let me turn the time over to you, and I'm going to have you just tell us in a couple of seconds what your business is. And then let's just play on that for a couple of minutes and say, well, how can we expand what you really do to be more? And hopefully this is going to help our listeners to do the same thing with their businesses. This is not just let's get Mr. Blake even more rich with more business, but something we can all do with our own businesses. So go ahead.
Promotion time.
Yeah.
No, it's, I help individuals to unlock their dyslexic superpower. And more specifically, I help adult dyslexics who struggle with self-confidence and self-belief. And so through all that, I'm a dyslexic achievement coach because there's so many things out there that you can go with to figure out what dyslexia is, how to get diagnosed, and everything like that. So much information. When it comes down to it, are you able to turn that information that you get into it? I take that, and I've been a dyslexic since the first grade. I've had multiple decades. I'm only 28, but like 2 decades, 2.5 decades of being a dyslexic. And it's just crazy that over those 2.5 decades, I've been able to go from someone who struggled a lot with speaking, reading, and spelling to then jump into being an award-winning speaker, a best-selling author, and a coach that helps other people out. So it's and an entrepreneur starting a business with it. So it's just crazy that, um, yeah, being able to share my experience with it and over all the mistakes that I've made, I want to help other people out, and so I want to help dyslexics to achieve whatever goals that they want to achieve.
Okay. Love that. And you gave me, I'm going to go for some low hanging fruit that you gave me. You are a speaker, so you can be a dyslexic speaking coach. You are an entrepreneur, you can be a dyslexic entrepreneur coach. And whoever came up with the word dyslexic to describe people who can mix up letters should be shot, because that's a word which just doesn't flow easily out of my mouth to begin with.
Terrible. Yes.
Yeah. So you talked about, so we got what, dyslexic coach. You can help coaches who are dyslexic to improve their business, whether they're coaching dyslexics or not. So what else can you do with a mastery? Start to say a mastery of dyslexia, a mastery of overcoming dyslexia. How about that?
Yeah.
If that's your brick, is being a master of overcoming dyslexia, how many ways can we use that?
There's so many ways you can go with it, because dyslexia, I agree with you, terrible. I wish they came up with a more simpler word for this thing. But you
Yeah.
can break that into, it's either Greek or Latin. I always get confused. But the Greek or Latin of dys, which is difficult, and then lexia, which is reading. So primarily it's about the difficulty with reading, but also goes into writing, speaking, and spelling, which also goes into math, which they have their own like dyscalculia and dysgraphia, own little definitions. But you break into those, and then those can break into more. So I can focus specifically on helping dyslexics read, how to, like you said, how to speak, how to write best-selling books, being able to help them like conquer their math. Yeah, there's so many different things. And just like Alex says, like, how many ways can you use this brick? Well, with what you're wanting to do, how many ways can you use this? There's
helping out teachers.
I don't want to be that guy, but really what his idea is it's really infinite you can go to.
Yeah. So as you were talking, I'm thinking, what if you help teachers who have dyslexic students, help HR departments to work with dyslexic employees? It just expands into all of these ways. And that idea of $1 million offers, one of the first parts of it is knowing what it is you actually have to offer. And I think so many businesses don't take the time to really understand what their offer is. They tend to think that it's just the narrowness of what they said initially. I help dyslexic adults. Well, where do you help them? How can you help them? And the more you can narrow that down, the more you can tailor an offer. He gave a great example in that of a sales program. He said, if I have a sales program, I can sell it for $19.99. If I have a sales program for B2B salespeople, I can sell it for $99.99. If I have a sales program for B2B salespeople in the farming equipment industry, I can sell it for $999.99 because now I've made something specific that people need. So the more we can get specific into our needs or our customers' needs, the more that's we can charge our customers. I hate to say it in that kind of a way, but the more it reflects what they really need. So a dyslexic improvement or dyslexic achievement program might sell for one amount, but a dyslexic, see, I can't even say that, dyslexic achievement program for IT salespeople might sell for a whole nother amount and open up a whole new market. Or dyslexic achievement coach for teachers or for math teachers, and narrowing that down to make that brick more and more specific in exactly what it can do. So
yeah, it really, yeah. There's so many things that we can go into to break this down. But going off of your thought, it's like there's so many decisions that we can make with it, and going towards the action side now after we've talked about this thought of like once we have this unlimited amount of stuff that we can do with said brick, question is now what do we get to do with it? And that, and maybe I'll throw the question to you first, and maybe it's not even a question, but I feel like the more choices we have, the harder it is. And so now that we have a brick that's infinite, how do we solve it? I guess would be a question that I'd ask you.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting question of perspective on that. So we've got an infinite things we can do with this brick from our side as the owner of the brick. But from our customer side, they actually have one thing they want. So I can build a wall, I can drop it on my foot, I can make a paperweight, I can juggle it. But if my customer is a juggler, there's only one thing that brick is good for, and that's juggling. And if I have the world's best juggling brick that's designed specifically for jugglers, and I present that offer, is this guy going to buy my brick that's a juggling brick, or is he going to go down to Home Depot and buy one of those just plain, ordinary, everyday bricks? Well, he's going to want the professional juggling brick. And likewise, if I have a construction worker and I have the best, strongest wall building brick, that construction worker is going to want that best brick. He doesn't care if I can juggle it or not. So when we're looking at our offers, remember that we can do a whole range of things. But if we turn it around from the customer perspective, they're looking for one specific thing. And if we can target that one thing we are offering to that one customer, and we might take the same brick and sell it 10 different ways to 10 different people. But it's unique to each of those people. And that's what turns that, a $1 offer into a $10 offer, or $100 offer into a $1,000 offer. Because it doesn't matter that this is a multi-purpose brick. What matters is that it fits the one purpose our customer wants and is willing to pay for specifically. How's that for, is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's around. And it goes to, what Alex talks about with the Grand Slam offer. It's narrowing it down so much that you're adding so much value that it's stupid for them to say no to the offer. And when I think of my coaching business, because that's the topic we've talked about for a little bit, I think about what exactly I need to do to add the most value to the individuals who I am helping and talking with. And so something that I've started is called a 45-day burst, which for some of the people I've worked with, it's basically what goal do you want to accomplish in 45 days? And from that, then being able to, through accountability and coaching, achieve that goal in 45 days. Here at Champion Circle, we talk about the 90-day sprint. Well, a 90-day goal, we have 30-day sprints. Like there are these sprints, bursts, these goals that we want to achieve. And what it all comes down to is like, whatever you want to get, go out and get it. So when it comes to this Grand Slam offer, if you are looking at your customer or client and you're like, this is a very unique problem that they have, maybe you focus and dial in on that, because there might be a bunch of coaches out there who are better than I am at helping to achieve goals, but are there better coaches out there to help specifically dyslexics to achieve goals? And I think that differentiation of narrowing down your niche and focusing on them adds a type of value that maybe sometimes we overlook when coming up with these things.
Yeah, I think Alex Hormozi calls that the niche pitch. You pitch to your specific niche. And like you said, if you may have somebody who needs to get help to get started on their goals, to get that running start. And you may have, if they're also dyslexic and they're also a business person, you can have a coach to help dyslexic. You can have a coach to help business people. You can have a coach to help get started on goals. But if you're all three of those when you're talking to the client, it's stupid not to go with you. Do you want to go with the coach who doesn't understand dyslexics or the coach who does? Do you want to go the coach who doesn't understand goals or the coach who does? Do you want to go the coach who is teaching both of those together because he has specific knowledge in both of those? Well, duh, yes. Of course I want that. And there's, I always say that the problem with business is not that aren't enough customers. The problem is reaching those and connecting with those customers. And the more you narrow that down, the more you will find those customers you need. And if you don't believe me, point to a pitch or point to a name and let me start again. If you don't believe me, point to a word in a dictionary and then type it into Facebook and you'll find a group that's obsessed with that word. Anything in there. There's some group somewhere that's what they care about. And if you create an offer specific to them, well, yeah, it's stupid of them not to go for it. They're going to want to have the one that applies to them. So make your brick fit the niche that you want it to fit.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
No, sorry. Finish your thought, please.
Oh, I would say then, as Alex says, you can charge as much money as people will pay. Get as much money as you can out of it. And again, it's not that money is everything, but it certainly does help in life, especially if you want to keep your business going.
Yeah, especially if you want that. I'd love to jump into more of the applicable side with this. So and more on the side of what can we do to add more value and come up with that grand slam offer. Because we've already brought up one that I think is very significant, which is sometimes just narrowing down your niche, not really changing anything product wise in your business, but narrowing down your niche brings value out. So let's say you have, we'll go with my journey through this whole thing. I wanted to teach people. I could teach whoever I wanted to. So broad, I could go to someone and be like, yeah, I teach people. Teach people what? Right? And like people aren't sold on it. Then I can narrow it down and be like, oh, I'm a success coach. It's like, okay, there's less of those out there than just regular teaching individuals. So, but like, what do you do success coaching about? So it's still not narrow enough. Then I went to empowerment coach. Awesome. You empower individuals, but there's a lot of them. And shouldn't every coach empower someone? Right? And then you and I had a discussion, and then I went to being a dyslexic coach, narrowing down to specific dyslexics. And then as I narrowed it down, that brought more value out. And then as I was talking with our founder, John, we came up with focusing on achievement, because that's really what I love to talk about and love to help people with, is achieving things. So now it's narrowed down enough to where I'm the dyslexic achievement coach, to where I'm coaching people and teaching them on how to achieve stuff. And those individuals that I teach are dyslexic. And just simply changing and narrowing it down brought value out without changing the product at all. So that's one thing that we can do. Ian, what are some others that we could do to not narrow, create the grand slam offer?
Yeah. I would say we've narrowed down to a specific niche, and I would probably say if we want to create that offer, let's go one step further and make dyslexic achievement coach for entrepreneurs. And now you've got a smaller subset, but when you say achievement, what is that going to be? So let's start expanding achievement. So dyslexic achievement coach for entrepreneurs seminar to earn your first $100,000 in business. Now you're doing the same thing, but you're starting to throw out, you've narrowed down the niche, and now you're expanding the offer. Or to get your business started in under 60 days. To improve your relationship at home by 200%. So all of these achievement things that you're helping people do. Now let's say, what's the actual benefit? Because with that offer, you've got to reach the right audience that wants it. But then you have to say, what do they really want? What does achievement really mean? Is it money? Is it promotion? Is it, quality of life? Is it more free time? Is it busier and less free time? Is it managing time so you can do more with less time? So what is the real goal that somebody wants? And once you throw that out, now you're saying, hey, this is somebody who knows exactly who I am, and they're promising to give me exactly what I want. Well, yes, of course I want to do that. I'm a dyslexic who's struggling to get a business started, and here's a guy saying that he can help a struggling dyslexic to get a business started in 60 days. Well, the advertisement practically has my picture in the advertisement because it's so specific to me. And it's specific to hundreds, thousands, millions of people out there. But it makes it look like it's just for me. So it's going to jump out, and no other coaching platform is going to have anywhere near that impact because that's for everybody. And then I'm going to kind of jump to the next thing he talks about. Don't make it for everybody. Don't have a 10,000 people in the audience. Say, we are looking for 10 dyslexic people who want to start their business in the next 60 days and get started tomorrow. We have 10 spots open. That's it. Now you've made an offer that's specific to the person, gives them what they want, has a deadline to force urgency on it. I think you got something to go with here, William.
Yeah. It's such an important point. I love that. I never thought about that before. Putting it as you narrow down the niche, but then add the offer at the end. So I help dyslexics achieve their goals in 60 days or less. That's like it. I hear that and I'm like, intriguing. Tell me more, right? And that's what we love as coaches. We love hearing that word, tell me more, because it means that they're engaged. It means that they are wanting, or at least wanting information of what you have. So I've never thought about it that way before. You got me, and I'm gonna promote myself more of that manner, because it really does bring out the value in what I do. I'm not just a dyslexic achievement coach. Like, that's a selfish thing if that's all I say. It's really about helping other people achieve their goals. And for most goals, I can do it in 60 days or less. It's just, how much effort they put in. There's a bunch of factors that go into it. But it when it comes down to that Grand Slam offer, it's how much value can you give off initially? And then when they say, tell me more, how much more can you add on to it after?
Right. And you need to hold a little bit of that back to give to them later. But you got to show them what they actually want. So years ago, I heard a pitch for a vacuum cleaner. And the big part of their pitch was, if you buy this vacuum cleaner, we are also going to throw in 2 round trip tickets to Hawaii. And everyone said, tell me more. Well, the catch is the vacuum cleaner costs like $5,000. And you could probably buy just as good a vacuum cleaner for a couple of $100 and pay for your whole trip to Hawaii, not just the 2 tickets.
Yeah.
But it caught someone's attention and made them say, tell me more. I want to hear more about this. And then it gave them an opportunity to explain it and add more value. So once you've added a specific value, you've helped the person see what they want. As soon as they say, tell me more, well, then you've got them hooked. Then you can start getting into a specific building of the offer for that individual Bill or Susie or Fred or Diane or whoever it is you're talking to. But you got to have, narrow down the niche so they see their face on it, present the goal that they're trying to achieve. So it's hard for them to say no at that point. It's like, just like you said, I have an offer here. I've got a seminar for one person named Ian who has goals A, B, and C. Well, I'm intrigued to find out, because that's that's based on me. You just written my name in your advertisement. It's hard for me to say no to that.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about this topic. It got my mind thinking. And listeners, I hope you're also listening to this as well. Ian is dropping bombs of truth during this episode today. Not that he doesn't always drop bombs, but specifically today, Ian is just on fire.
Well,
Because
thank you.
of course, because when it comes down to the Grand Slam offer, when it comes down to coming up with the ideas with your brick that you have, really it's just that sequence of process you need to go through. First, think about what it is that you have and what you can do with it. Second, pick one thing that interests you and narrow it down to then make it a niche. And then third, make an offer for other people to also help with that. And then you basically got a business right there of adding value. And just that simple process is the Grand Slam offer. And of course, we can go into in later episodes like adding in a bunch more resources, adding in events that they go to, adding in, just like you said, Hawaii tickets for accomplishing those things. But when it comes down to it, the biggest offer is solving the pain that they are going through now. And so if we can narrow down the pain that they're going through, then we can figure out how to solve it. Because in the best case scenario, we have already gone through what we are trying to give to other people. Like for me with my dyslexia, I have gone through pain. I have gone through trying to figure it out. I've gone through tutoring. I've gone through people bullying me. I've gone through feeling lonely during school. I've gone through going through tests, ACT, SAT. I've gone through college. Like I've done so many of these challenging things. But then on the other side, I still come out with positivity, self-belief, and inspiration. On the other side, I've come out with being a best-selling author and creating my own business as an entrepreneur and being an award-winning speaker. Like, these things are things that I've wanted, and I've gotten them. And now that I have, I can take that process that I've taken through it to be able then to share it with other people. Same with Ian and what he's doing, and same with all you listeners who are listening in. Like, each of you have experience, each of you have wisdom in a certain area. And if you might not think you do, that's a different conversation that we can go to. But you do. Every single individual has experience with something, because every single person who is listening to this is hopefully still alive at this point. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully during this episode you weren't listening in the car and got in a car crash. That'd be very sad. But for everyone else,
drive safely.
Yes, drive safely. But for everyone else who is listening to this right now, everyone has something to give. Everyone has been through something. And when you're able to narrow that pain down for someone else and help them solve it, they will more than happily give you money for the offer you're giving. And that's because it came from a place of experience rather than a place from simply searching it up on Google or learning about it on ChatGPT.
But ChatGPT has all the answers.
Mostly.
I would need to jump into something you just did there, William. You just named a dozen programs that you can offer. I don't know if you even caught that you did that.
I didn't, but tell me.
Yeah. Overcoming bullying by dyslexia, achievement through dyslexia, authorship through dyslexia, SATs for dyslexics. Now, you said lots of other great stuff afterwards. I forgot the other ones. But when you were talking about all the things you overcame, there's a program, there's a seminar, there's a book, there's a class in every single one of those that's there. So that's kind of what are those uses for that brick? What has to our readership, listenership, what has your business helped you to do? What is it giving you? What have you done in your life to allow you to be able to have that business? And list all those things out. And there's a class in every single one of those. And then look at your next door neighbor and say, if I was my next door neighbor, how would my class or my business help them? And there's a whole nother list of things there. So crafting those offers, it's not a radio ad where you're just sending out to everybody who's there. It's more like a Facebook ad where you can put specific criteria. I only want to talk to women between the age of 18 and 25 who have blonde hair and complain about frizziness. Now you've narrowed down an offer. And a 21-year-old woman with long blonde hair that gets frizzy is going to listen to that ad. They're going to say, how come nobody else cared enough about me to make an offer for me? And that's what it is. I forget who coined the term mass personalization, but we're creating a mass ad that's personalized to a very specific group of people. And they're the people who are going to jump at what we have to offer. So I'll kind of wrap up my little section here, then turn it over to William for the final true words of wisdom. But think about what your offer really does and narrow it down to a specific situation and craft that offer so that the person in that situation has no choice but to say, yes, this is what I want. Tell me more. How can I do this? So they can ask you, when is this program? They can ask you, how much money do you want for it? Wouldn't that be a great thing if people ask how much they could pay you instead of asking how much you charge?
Yeah.
When you create that offer, I see things on the internet all the time that I want to buy. And I'm excited. I'm asking, how much money can I give you to get this? Unfortunately, it's usually more than I have. But that's another topic for later on pricing. But, Alex Hormozi's advice there is charge just as much as people are willing to pay for it, is how much you can charge. And when you personalize it to someone and then show them the benefits, show them what they are going to get from it, and that person who wants that goal is going to pay you to get there because you're the one giving them that grand slam offer. And I'm going to finish one last quick thing, sorry. And hopefully I get this right because I am not a sports person. But as I understand it, a grand slam is when you have, in baseball, you have someone on first, second, and third base, and then the batter hits a home run. And all four of those come around and you score 4 runs with that one hit. For that to happen, you got to have somebody on first base. But you also need someone on second base. And you also need someone on third base. Then you need somebody who can hit the ball hard enough to score a home run. If you hit the ball hard enough to score a home run and there's no one on first, second, and third base, it's not a grand slam. So you've got to set it up. You've got to create that situation so that you know exactly where all the pieces are and how you are going to hit that. And that's the strategy behind it. Know the layout, know the landscape, put the pieces in play, build up your clients, your customers, so they're ready for that. So when you hit that home run at the end, it's not just one going around, but all 4. So build up the offer, get things in place, personalize it, and then expand the benefits, what they're going to get from it. And hopefully I've said that somewhat logically, and otherwise I may need some help with my dyslexia.
Ian, you and I should talk after.
Maybe, yeah. Do you have a coach for dyslexic podcasters who struggle putting words in the right order and are kind of going bald?
Yeah, and they're named Ian. So
yeah. How much can I pay you for this course?
$1 million. What you said rang so true. And I love your example from the baseball analogy, because a grand slam is when, you said it, everyone is on base, you hit it, it's that home run, but you get 4 scores because you did it. You got to have all your bases filled first, which I think about, like, not other people being on the base, but us being on the base. In order to get a grand slam, the 3 hitters before you need to each only get a single base, which means that the things that you do before the grand slam are not going to be the doubles, the triples, or the home runs. What really makes the grand slam effective is when you just get 1 base at a time. And for us, as we are the basers and the hitters, the small things that we do every day are going to put us on base 1, base 2, and base 3. So that as we get into that situation to where we are now at bat, we have that opportunity, and we make that home run grand slam, then we're able to make the biggest show of everything happening. But it's all because before that grand slam, 3 other people, or in this case, 3 other opportunities or daily actions or habits happened in the smallest manner that you can get in baseball without getting out. So it's you doing the small stuff without you stopping. And I love Alex Hormozi's quote with this. He says, "During my hardest days, I repeated the same phrase to myself. I cannot lose if I do not quit." Quitting is getting out. So as long as you keep going, doing the small things every day, you're going to fill up those bases so that when you have that opportunity comes, that you make that grand slam. And as you build up your business, as you build up those offers, small as they may be, for those people that you're going to help hit those pain points, by the time you get to that grand slam and sell your client and they buy your biggest program possible, that's going to feel like a victory, simply because you took those small steps to get there and then you made that opportunity worthwhile. I think the phrasing is, that opportunity is, no, success is when opportunity meets preparedness. So as you're prepared and opportunity comes, then you'll get the success. And I don't know if it's success. It might be a different word, but
we'll use success.
We'll use success.
Yeah.
But it's the small things that we do every day that get us to where when the opportunity comes, we can take that grand slam.
I love that. And success equal is when opportunity and you just said that, and I just forgot the word. Preparation and opportunity meet. And the great thing is preparation is entirely 100% in our control. And opportunity is actually pretty much in our control as well. We can create those opportunities. So success is entirely in our control. But you have to listen to our podcast if you're going to get there.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go with that one. But we kind of hit the top of our time now. So I want to thank you for listening. Give a huge thank you to Mr. William Blake for being on today and for all of his efforts in the behind the scenes of making this whole operation run. So thank you, William. And thank you again to our listeners for taking time to listen. Hopefully you've gained some nuggets of wisdom that are going to turn into more success for you. If you like what you've heard, please like and subscribe this so that you can get more of these nuggets of wisdom to your inbox in whatever platform you're watching, to have these pop up more so you can find more success in your business, in your life. We would love to hear your comments. You can reach us by emailing us at info@mychampionscircle.com. Again, info@mychampionscircle.com. Or simply go to mychampionscircle.com to find out everything Champion Circle has to offer, from virtual networking and accountability programs and just a myriad ways to help you achieve your success, because that's what we love to do, is make other people successful, get other people to be successful, and that's our grand slam. So thank you. We look forward to talking to you again next week. And if you'd like to, again, join us or have any questions, reach out at info@mychampionscircle. Thank you, William.
Thank you, Ian.